guys, welcome to this video itself. This is our other note video for our year 6 year 6 maths class. Right, so today we're actually going to look at comparing and ordering numbers. So to compare, we're going to look at these few signs over here. 1, 2, 3, the 3 different signs, right? So to use these 3 different signs, I'm going to show you how to do that and also how to actually compare them using these signs, right? So if you look at your textbook, page number 6, you can actually have a look at some of this information. But before I let you compare all of this information itself, let me just give you a very simple notes that you can write down in your notebook. First thing first, let's write compare. Everything's white. Compare numbers. So we're going to look at comparing numbers first. Right. Let me give you an example. Whereas 2 equals to 2, we have 2 and 3, 3, 2. So I'm going to write what each of these actually means over here. So when you have this sign, I'm going to highlight all of these signs, 1, 2, and 3. These signs actually mean certain things, like this for the same value. All right, they are the same value. This would be less than, whereas the other one is more than over here, right? So we can say rather than same value, both of them are actually equal. It's basically the same thing. All right, so there are some ways where you can actually write this in words. So sometimes maybe you have to put in these signs, but sometimes you also have to give an explanation, give one sentence to explain it. So I'll show you how to do that in a while. Don't you worry. But first thing first, when we look at the signs, we have one right, one and left, one for the signs, right? So to actually know where should we put in the numbers on which side itself, as we have big numbers and small numbers, in this case would be 2 and 3. So let me just draw a line so you can see the difference over here. A huge line over here. All right. So let us look at this first sign over here. So this first line, when you see this sharp point over here, is basically when we put in the small numbers. Whereas the big part over here, imagine it as a teeth, right? Maybe a crocodile's teeth or a monster's teeth in this case. So it can actually be the big monster eating the big number. It's just for illustration purpose only. Don't you worry. Just think of it as something big and you feel that you want it more than the smaller one. So pity the smaller one in a way. Whereas if you have the other arrow on the other side, let's see this side over here. So this would be a small number, whereas the other side will be a big number. Right? Can see it now? I hope you can see it. If you have any questions regarding this, you can actually ask me. As I always mention, there is an email right above over there. Just message me or email me at my email or find me in Google Classroom if you're my student. All right. So now we know what the arrows are for. We want to give you another different example rather than the 3 and 2, and also how to write it down into words. So it's pretty simple in a way. Don't worry if you think it's too hard, just pause the video and try to slowly understand it. So let's put 10. 10 more than 5. So when 10 over here, 10 is actually greater than 5. So rather than more than, it is basically another word for greater. Let me just use the same color so you can see it. Greater. Right? So most of the time you actually see the word greater than rather than more than in a way. Let us write 10 is greater than 5 in this case. Right? So whenever you see this kind of question, it is basically saying that, oh, this number is actually greater than the other number itself. Now, what if we have the opposite side, 10 and 5 reversed? But the insert itself, the symbol is also reversed to the other side. So do I also say 10 is greater than 5? Technically, it is still true. You are not wrong. But now the main character over here is 5, right? So always write the first number that you see first. Here, the main character is 10. That's why we write 10. Now, the main character is 5. And so that's why we're going to write it as 5 is lesser than 10. Do you see it now? So over here, we see whatever number that comes first, and that is why we write it first. So it doesn't not matter where the 10 is, but you really have to see if the arrows are pointing at the correct place. So the pointed places are always for the smaller numbers, right? The smaller numbers only. So try not to forget that. If you want to erase this, you can still erase it. It's not a must. Okay, but I'll leave it over here just in case you would like to draw something like this as well. If you have better drawings than me, you can just draw any other thing as long as you don't change the arrows that much. Alright, this is our just notes for you. Let's look at ordering numbers. So ordering numbers are basically numbers you can see that which numbers come first and which number come last. So we can actually see which one is bigger, which one is smaller, and this one actually helps out as well. Let us look at this tree. 1, 2, and 3. So in this order, it is actually correct. The numbers are getting smaller and smaller, right? So you just need to arrange all of this into the correct order. This order is already correct. And so if I put in the symbols in here, if you actually want to know how to use it, all right, this number is actually bigger than the second one. So what you can do is you can do this. Whereas the next one, 250,360, this would be bigger than 167,900, right? So you can actually write it nicer than me. Write it in your notes. If you don't want to write it on your textbook because you want to keep your textbook nice and clean, you can do that as well. Just make sure you write these notes in your exercise book or in your notebook before our next class. All right. So let me know if you have any questions. This is just it for this chapter. It's pretty simple. Have a look at workbook if you want to have a look at it, right? So I'm gonna post this up in a while. You can have a look at it comparing and order numbers, textbook page number 6. If you want to have a look at the exercises, you can have a look at workbook page 12. If you want to look at the notes, always open up the textbook. If you have any questions, always ask me as well. All right, I'll see you guys in the next class and bye-bye.